Bring them in tonight. And we also have trial attorney, big case Michael Jaafar with us as well. Thank you all for being here. Let's talk about the next call. Michael Jaafar, there was one where he said we're all suffering here. He talks about Jen, doesn't implicate her at all in this, but he says we're all suffering. This has just turned everyone's life upside down. Do you think the prosecution can get in a call like that? And if they can, how's the jury going to react to it?
I think they absolutely could get in a call like that because I don't think, I think I don't think the prejudicial value outweighs its probative value. But what I also see in these calls, and especially with that call, is I have a theory. I think Stephan Sterns thinks that his parents are both idiots. And I think that he is more so defending himself from stupid statements that might come from his parents. If we recall, his dad was the person who volunteered his hard drive to the police they didn't even know existed. And his mom sent him a letter intimating that, hey, why are you suffering? Other people should also be suffering. And she kind of implicated him in doing it as well. Hey, you always know your customer, right? You're a parent, you know your kid. They know their kid. They clearly probably believe that their kid is a creep, but their kid they believe is a creep. But he maybe was one of those wily, smart creeps who knows how to basically, manipulate them and kind of defending himself from them making stupid statements when he's on a call with them. I don't know, but this guy is a weird, creepy person. He's had a creepy background. His parents are creepy. So I think the prosecutors can bring this in, but it's going to have to be brought in with a whole I think all his jailhouse calls are going to be brought in, except for the ones with his attorneys.
Well, you're right. It is very odd the way he's talking to his parents, and it sounds like they could even be motivated for justice for Madeline if they're asking about other victims, other potential victims. We have to take a break. Think Tank, thank you for your analysis on that case. Yeah, Michael Jaafar, give me an example, because apparently a grand jury looked at these text messages already and said there's nothing here to go forward. They no-billed it to go forward with Karen Read being responsible for witness intimidation. So what's an example of something that perhaps the prosecution can use at this retrial?
Oh, absolutely. Here's an easy example. What I think that they're worried about is, hey, maybe I did something like this, but why would they do this? So she would have some sort of an admission or some sort of a conscience of guilt that's not related to the witness intimidation, but could be relevant to maybe an underlying, fact in her case that she's challenging. Maybe something along the lines of, I wasn't part of that, that, or I wasn't there, or I dropped them off. Anything could happen. But at the end of the day, it is relevant for Hank Brennan to at least be able to see these, because there might be something relevant to her case. It could be relevant to her case, but not relevant to whether or not she was guilty of witness intimidation. And while, I'm in Michigan too, so I'm a huge Paula Lofton fan, I just don't agree that these are not relevant for Hank Brennan. I think they are relevant for Hank Brennan because at the end of the day, I can tell you, Judge Beverly Canoni has not made any mistakes so far in this case. So put it in her hands. Let her decide whether or not this is relevant to her case. If she decides it is, it is. If she decides it isn't, it isn't.
Michael Jaafar, final word before we have to go to a break. She's speaking about that incident, but the text messages and phone call information that they want spans a couple of days from January 29th to February 2nd. Is that going to open up a can of worms in this case?
Yeah, if there was a competition for how much a person hates Karen Read, I would probably win that competition. With that being said, I don't think that these should be. I don't think anything should pervade the attorney-client privilege. And yes, if those calls were admitted, obviously it would expose her for what I think she is, which is she killed him either intentionally or not, but is just trying to cover it up. So it would completely open up a can of worms. But I do agree with Paulette. I don't think anything should. I'm so conservative in that, Julia. I don't think anything should pervade that relationship. I think it should be sacrosanct. As much as I hate to admit it, I actually agree with Karen Read's case in this side and this position.
It is up to Judge Canoni as to whether or not that is actually going to come in. Think Tank, stand by. We do have to get to a break.